Greetings YouTube, welcome back to the Metanet channel. I am Marcus, bringing you another video for Cardfight Vanguard Overdress. For this video, we will be going through the support that Flagburg as well as Drajeweled actually received for DBT07. Although I did reveal Drajeweled support back a few videos before this, but hey, we actually do have 2 new cards for them. And of course, Flagburg does receive a really good support. It's not much, but could be meta defining for Flagburg. Let's get started with Flagburg. First off, we have Cooperative Strike Brave Shooter, auto back row center rearguard circle. When your rearguard attacks, if it's the first battle of this turn, that unit gets 5k power until the end of turn. So it's basically a 5k boost to whatever is attacking on the first turn, provided if you have this Brave Shooter at the back row center rearguard circle. It allows Flagburg's rearguard, for example, a 10k grade 2 to be able to hit the opponent's grade 3 Vanguard, which is at 13k. So with the 5k, it at least hit the Vanguard. As we all know, Flagburg rearguard is basically the kind that is like 5k to guard attack types. Unless of course you're personal riding, then that's a different story. Restanding rearguards of course will get the maximum benefit from this card because it's 5k more power for both attacks. It's actually very nice. But the problem here is that I don't think this card will be run because of how limited the grade 1 space for Flagburg is. You're probably gonna have some problems trying to fit this card in. Although it's a very nice card, but it's not really a must to be run. Next up, we have Billow Assault. Auto rearguard circle once per turn. When they attack this unit, boosted hits. If you have a stand Vanguard with Flagburg in this card name, stand this unit. So it's basically an 8k booster that restands when the attack that this unit boosts hits. So this basically could encourage the opponent to guard the attack that this unit is boosted because it's free, and if you do have stuff that basically restands, and if the front row unit that this unit is boosted can restand, it's basically another 8k to that attack, which is actually very nice. Even with the damage trigger that your opponent may get from this attack, there's a high chance that this whole column is still able to hit because it does restand. So yeah, that's actually very nice. But this unit, I don't think it's giving a lot of value. This unit needs to boost and attack hit in order to restand. Although it's free, there are some better units that you can run instead of this unit. Next up, we have Float Assault. Auto rearguard circle once per turn. When this unit attack hits, if you have a stand Vanguard with Flagburg in its card name, stand this unit. So it's basically similar to the previous grade 1 Billow Assault. Both of these need to attack hit. Of course, Billow Assault needs to boost, but you still need to attack hit for him to restand. Both of these cards actually is free, which is actually very nice. But then again, the only issue that I see is that these 2 cards does not really gain power. So it's going to be really hard for you to attack hit without any power boosting skills. But even so, why would you want to run this card over another card that basically confirms your restand and also take advantage of that boost power? The only great thing about this card is that it's free. That's basically it. Other than that, I don't think this card will be run because it's not doing a lot, because each attack that you make in that turn for Flagburg is actually super important. So most probably a skip. Next up, we have Rousing Breath Dragon. Continuous back row center rearguard circle. During the 5th battle of this turn or more, the cost of all original auto abilities of your Vanguard with Flagburg in its card name are reduced by Counterblast 1. So Flagburg is basically free, provided you have this card at the back row center rearguard circle. This makes the other skills for Flagburg, for example, the rearguards that needs Counterblast to restand, as well as, who am I kidding? It's all restands for Flagburg. It's basically allows for more usage for those cards. So you're not really that limited in terms of using your Counterblast. And since this card could only activate his skill at the back row center rearguard circle, I don't think this will be run at max copies. 1 or 2, I think it's fine. 3 maybe, but 4 I think is a little bit overkill. But still, it's a very good card to be run because of the 1 Counterblast minus. It's actually very nice. For the double R, Tyrannite Alix. Auto rearguard circle. At the end of the battle, this unit attack a Vanguard. If this was the 2nd battle of this turn and you have a stand Vanguard with Flagburg in its card name, cost Soul Blast 1, stand this unit, and this unit gets 5k power until the end of turn. Yeah, this is basically just more restander for Flagburg, but instead of a Counterblast 1 to restand, this unit is basically a Soul Blast 1 to restand, which takes off some of the resources usage from this Counterblast for other rearguards to be used. For example, I think the grade 2 Riot Line for Flagburg does use 1 Counterblast in order to restand. But the only issue that I have with this card is that it only gets the 5k after you restand. So it might be a hassle because this is only a grade 2 and it's a 10k. It's not really that great because 10 10k, you're not gonna hit the opponent's grade 3 with a 10k. So I mean, this also does make the cooperative brave shooter make sense to be run with this card, but then again, with Rousing Breath Dragon, you're basically stuck with which card do you want to be put at the back row center rear guard. That's a very big headache. So it's either you want your rearguard to attack hit, or you want the counterblast 1 discount. That's basically it. That is all for our Flagburg support for DBT07. It's not much, but it's actually kind of meta defining. But then again, you will still need the grade 3 promo for Flagburg, which is stupidly expensive. Moving on to dark states. The first one we have is of course Falcate Performer. Auto rearguard circle. When this unit boosts, choose up to 1 card from your drop, and if you do not have the same grade with that card in your soul, put it into your soul. So this card is basically a very vital pieces for Drajeweled. It basically helps you refund, or basically lets you put something back to the soul, because Drajeweled need 4 different grades in the soul in order to soul blast out to activate its skill. This card basically just helps you recover 1/4 of the skill, and of course if you do have more Falcate Performer, you basically could refund like half of what Drajeweld's skill is. Adding 1 grade 4 Bruce into Drajeweld deck is actually very smart, because for sure you do not have a grade 4 in your soul. So no matter what, this card will go off if of course you choose to soul blast the grade 4, and if the grade 4 is in your drop zone. So yeah, it's actually a very nice. And not to mention, this card is actually generic. It's not locked behind Drajeweld. It just helps Drajeweld more than the other right lines. For the other right line, you basically just need to make sure that you do not have that specific grade in your soul for you to recover that unit. But due to this restriction, I don't think this card will be run in any decks outside of Drajeweld. But who knows? There might be a support card that basically says each and every card in your drop zone has a different grade from each other, so then it's actually very nice. But until that day comes, this card should only be run in Drajeweld and not the other deck, which is kind of sad. Next of course is the most hype attacker I have seen in the history of Vanguard, Demonic Stone Dragon Rockagur. It has 2 skill, auto rearguard circle once per turn. When this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater, if your soul has 4 or more cards with different grade, this unit gets 10k power until the end of turn. Second skill, auto rearguard circle. When you soul blast 4 or more cards at the same time for the cost of your Vanguard ability, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, cost counterblast 1 and stand this unit. Can only be used if you soul blast 4 or more cards at once. Yeah, a 20k restanding attacker, provided if your opponent's grade is grade 3. At first I was thinking this unit does not need the opponents to be grade 3, but yeah, I was proven wrong otherwise. I've been playing this card wrong for quite some time until I realized, hey wait, this card needs to wait for the opponent to be at grade 3, only then he's able to activate his skill. So it's kind of on me because I didn't really read the skill. I just assume what it does based on the anime. But this unit being at 30k when you persona ride is very disgusting. A 30k, which means that the opponent needs to throw down a 20k shield, which is a lot actually. The counterblast cost will rake up really fast, because in order to restand, you are paying 2 counterblast if you have 2 Rockagur on this rearguard circle, and each of them need 1 counterblast to restand. So the counterblast cost is getting very heavy the more times you use Rockagur. So in the later game, once your counterblast is exhausted, your explosiveness will just go down the drain, if that makes sense. With a little bit of guard planning, the whole turn might not seem that threatening, because for example, if you do personal right and you throw down 2 Rockagur, depending on what your opponent's damage is, what they will need is basically throw down 2 20k shields to guard the initial 2 Rockagur's attack, and then PG the center, and then just let the remaining 2 Rockagur that restands attack hit. It's not really as good as what this card seems on paper. This card should not be underestimated because it's still a restander. It's very disgusting. So if you manage to rush your opponent at high damage, of course this card will be super disgusting. But if you do not rush, your opponent is just gonna do what I just said before. But then again, it's a very good card, and it's a very important attacker for Drajeweld at the moment. So like I said before, we do not have a lot for Drajeweld support. I'm just gonna put the deck that I am working with at this point in time, so that you guys can take reference on what type of cards that you will need if you want to build Drajewelds. I won't go into detail as I did for certain deck profiles video, because I'm still fine-tuning this deck. I don't think this will be the final, and it's not really doing well as as I hope for the current meta. Feel free to give me your thoughts and basically what other cards that I can try out with this deck, because at this moment in time this deck is not doing as well as I hope it to be, and with the price tag being so expensive, yeah, you just keep in mind that this whole deck will be very expensive. And that is all for this video. Do let me know down in the comment section of what do you think of both of these Flagburg as well as Drajeweled support for DBT07. I'm really happy that Flagburg has their support finally, and I'm really sad that Drajeweled isn't doing as well as I hope it to be. Do like and subscribe if you like this video, and of course during the bell notification icon so that you don't miss a video I upload. With that being said, I'll see you all on the field.